Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon One Pickups.
Hello, everybody. Hey, it's me, Todd Novak. We are super happy to have you riding along with us on this thing we call the Guitar Knobs podcast.
That's right.
Tony, what do we do on the Guitar Knobs podcast?
We talk about primarily boutique builders of amps and guitars and pedals and all kinds of fun things.
We interview these people.
We talk to them. We get their story. We get their background.
That's what it's about.
We share the love and
Yes,
the
sir.
knowledge. Mm-hmm. And that's what we do.
Yeah. What are we doing today, Jared?
Today we're going to do a recap on our NAMM trip to Nashville.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's right.
Just a couple things before we get into that. I want to point out that we have some amazing guests. We've got
That's right.
really an insane lineup for all of you listeners. I don't typically do foreshadowing because I like to surprise and delight. But in this case, I'm like, man, this is so stacked. It's crazy. I got to share this.
let the cat out of the
gotta let the cat
bag.
out.
Let's spill the beans.
Coming up in episodes nearest to the nearest future, we have Walsh guitars.
Ooh.
Jennings guitars.
What?
Dr. No.
Whoa.
Effects.
No,
Yes.
No.
We
That's
have
awesome.
Adventure Audio Experiments.
Okay.
Deep Space Devices. Ground Control Audio.
To Major Tom.
Dunnable Guitars.
Can't wait.
Frank Brothers Guitars.
Oh, yeah.
And Crow Effects. And there's way more after that. That's a lot of good stuff coming, people.
It is. I can't wait.
Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, it really is. I mean, since I've been involved with the podcast, I mean, it's just, I'm every week he's telling me who we have lined up, and I'm amazed.
I love
Yeah.
podcast. It's like going to recess in elementary school. You can't wait to go.
Yeah. Or to the bathroom.
Okay.
That said, those are all people that we talked to before we even got to NAMM.
That's right.
And I've got a big fat stack of cards that I got to follow up with people to get on the show. So
Nice.
We've got tons of content beyond even what I just said to you fine people. If you are following along on your audio device, you might even want to switch over to Spotify and check us out on
What?
Spotify. That's right.
That's right.
If everybody just goes and just at least follow, you don't even have to listen to us on Spotify, but if you follow us on Spotify, it helps bubble us up to the top for those who aren't even aware of us.
The numbers game,
which is
baby.
loads of people, I'm sure. We ran into a lot of people who were like,
people.
What's the Guitar Knobs podcast? And it was really fun to introduce that to friends that we were making. So there's that. We also want to thank
Rode microphones.
Rode
That's
Microphones for providing this fine audio equipment. We are broadcasting to you on right now. And it's a pretty
broadcaster.
sweet deal. We're really sorry that we missed you, Rode, at NAMM because you weren't there.
We looked for you.
Maybe at the
we'll
next
catch
one.
you.
Maybe
at the
we'll
winter
catch you at the next one if we can get there. I hope I can get there.
I'm going.
I'm going.
You guys are going. I'll try to
Bam.
go. I'll see if I can go. I would love to go. I would love to go and meet all the other people that
I will bug you until
are on the West
it's time
Coast,
to
friends
go.
of ours that we're going to be, dealing with. Yeah. Stax Effects. I forgot them. I mean, I didn't forget them, but Stax Effects from Long Beach. Yeah, my
Stax.
old hometown where I was born and raised. So, ooh, doggies. We got a lot to talk about today, everybody.
Ruff.
What's going on in music world today, this week, Tony?
So there I was after the guitar show in Columbus. And Jared says to me, I got this K guitar that I need something for. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that probably just needs strings or something, whatever. But no, it's missing a pick guard. It's missing a pick guard. Strangely enough, in my template collection, this is what, a KN2? I think it's the model number because I had a model KN1, which is the same guitar
Without a pickup.
Right. So luckily, the shape and everything fit pretty well. Actually, the screw holes were darn close, but
Nice.
I had to move them around a little bit. But So his K now has a proper pick guard.
Yeah.
I think it looks pretty good. And
It looks really good. It looks almost factory because the factories that had that big K emblem on them.
Well, not this particular model. It didn't
Really?
have the K on it.
Well,
no.
then you won't be able to tell.
You won't be able to tell. Well, I'll know
Yeah. Oh,
because there's a big Pick Guardian sticker on the back.
that's right.
So that's that. I mean, in addition to playing catch up from being out of the shop for a couple of days, that was my week. Jared, what about you? What was going on this week with you?
Well, when we were down in Nashville, we went to an after party and it was at a guitar shop. I don't think they had any expectation of selling, some equipment there. I think it was more so just a focus on, people that do business with them. They were invited to this big after party after the NAMM show on
After the
Saturday.
party?
After party, that's right. Come on, man, you're getting me all cattywampus here.
Do not get him. Don't let him get cattywampus.
Give me cattywampus, man.
Apologize for the cattywampusness.
It is funny. But anyhow, I saw this mid-70s twin reverb amp, a Fender twin reverb, and it was awesome looking. I noticed these like silvery speaker ball things in the middle of the speakers. I forgot what those things are
Dust
called.
caps.
That's right. And I was like, those aren't the stock speakers in 1974 or 75. So I'm having a beer and having a good time, and one of the owners of the shop just said, "Hey man, that's a great amp. We brown faced it." And I'm like, "Oh good. So it's not going to sound like a 70s reverb."
Explain what brown
Facing is when they use they totally redo the amp and they use the same components in a brown face amplifier, and they redo the amp that way.
Why is
it's
that
probably
different?
hand wired?
Why is that different?
Tony, help me out.
Brown face amps came out in the 61, 62.
Yeah.
So that the term comes from the color of the faceplate. Sure. It says volume, tone, and model number. They were brownish and usually had cream Tolex. And then after that came the black faces.
Cream knobs too, right?
Cream knobs as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no looks here that have changed on the amp. It's only the way the amp is made. And back then they were actually hand wired.
So the
Point to point.
truth be told, aside from some values of the componentry, they didn't really change much when they went to silver faces. But what I think this company did is they went back to what would have been spec for early 60s.
Yeah.
And changed out some of the values. And it makes the amp probably a little less bright, maybe.
A lot less bright.
Yeah.
It sounds so warm now, and you don't have to crank it up to get the good sounds either. So
Yeah.
it's a great amp now because you can still keep your hearing, but yet get the benefits out of it.
And they didn't add a master to
turned
that,
up
did
amp.
they?
The master still works.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's heavily modded.
Okay.
But anyway,
Well, if you're happy with the
It
amp,
did sound good. When he was in the shop, I was a little bit worried because he's plugged in. I was like, oh, everybody look out. Because I was expecting just ice pick twin
it sounded
reverb
good.
coming at us. And it sounded nice and warm. And it was actually really, really great sounding amp.
I didn't have to haggle with him either. I just stood there and gave him a weird face when he said the number, and I just made a face and I said, "Well," and I made my Jared noise. I was like,
Yeah.
Well,
That
and
worked.
then he threw me a better price, and I'm like, okay,
and they're gonna carry your pickups too, aren't they?
they might.
Okay.
So that's kind of in the works.
Well, that's good. Hopefully, you can do that. Be nice
Yeah.
to get some Nashville representation for Brandon Wells.
Oh, definitely. I did drop off a few things to a few different shops, so we'll see.
Cool. Todd, what about you this week?
What'd you do?
I caught up on practicing, and we're right in the mode of getting close to finalizing some songs. And so I just wanted to get right back in and start playing and playing and playing.
Are you perfect yet?
I will never be.
They say practice makes perfect.
Practice makes your fingers stronger. That's about it. No, it does make it makes this a whole lot better, and I'm excited about that. I think that this also gave me an opportunity to actually spend some. So when you go in and you're playing with the band, you get caught up in like, let's play the song, let's learn the song, let's get better at the song. It is difficult to have the discipline to take the time to say, all right, I'm going to sit with a particular song and find the little areas to make better on my own so that I can go into the next practice with that. So I'm taking notes. I'm trying different combinations of pedals and pickups and controlling different volumes. So that's what I did. I just played the crap out of my guitars and I was happy about it.
That's what they're for, man.
You bet.
If you don't play them, they turn into furniture.
That's true. And fortunately, I don't have any furniture, and at least not any expensive furniture. Oh, and I almost lost the money that I made off of my stupid Explorer. That was so dumb.
Oh, wow.
Yes, the panic texts.
All the drama about selling the Explorer, and then I dang near lose all the money that fell out of my
should have put it in a wallet.
Yes.
I don't have a wallet.
Real men carry wallets.
Not like, yeah, well, I'm not one then. Anyways, so let's talk about NAMM. Now, for those that don't know what this is, Tony, tell us all in a nutshell what NAMM is.
NAMM stands for National Association of Musical Merchants. Mm-hmm. It's oh God, I don't know how long ago it was formed, but a long time ago. But it's a gathering of basically musical instrument makers of all types, including band instruments and things like that.
There was a guy with a Star Spangled Banner music note shape harp.
Yes,
who
the electric harp.
Insane.
Yes, but he did wave.
He was happy to be there.
He did wave.
He waved to everybody.
And that was half the battle.
If you're okay sitting there with a giant musical note shaped harp painted in Star Spangled Banner, I figure you pretty much have to be a happy fella.
Sure. So the California or winter show is considerably bigger. I mean, what we saw here. But, the one thing I liked about the Nashville show is it's easier to take in a day or two. Plus, you spend a little more time with people that you may not, you may bypass at the California show. So I enjoy going to both because I think, the California show, of course, is huge and everybody is there and all sorts of things that you never thought you would see is there. But Nashville show is definitely a little more music centric, I guess.
There's a giant hair on your microphone screen. It's driving me insane. Can you
just grab it with your mouth?
Where?
It's right on the edge.
Did it come out of
get
your
the
nose?
thing off of the.
Is it gone?
It's gone. That was really freaking me out, man.
It's just a hair, man.
I know.
Wow.
I don't know.
Todd was freaking out. We did have a piece of cake before the podcast, and he's like all sugar
Star
high.
Spangled Banner 4th of July cake, and it kind of messed up my brain a little
Red,
bit. I'm
white,
just gonna
and
say,
blue.
yeah,
It was red, white, and blue.
It was the equivalent of eating.
That's all, folks.
It was like eating 6 bags of Skittles. That's what it felt like.
Taste the rainbow.
Yeah,
man.
I did taste the rainbow. So, anyways. Oh, that's a great explanation, Tony. And the cool thing is it's down in Music City.
Yep.
And there is a ton going on.
Oh, yeah. And if even, everybody I tell, they go, oh, Nashville, you must go to country music, blah, blah, blah. The country music, it's the home of country music, but it is a town that if you want rock, if you want jazz, if you want blues, if you want anything, I imagine there's even some rap down there.
Yeah, I heard some.
Did you?
Yeah, there's a club or two doing it.
So they got everything. And it's, it's a town just like Austin. Austin has all types of music, and that's the feel of the town.
Yeah.
There's just certain towns that's the way that it is. And Nashville is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So don't be put off if you think...
rapidly growing city. My, oh my.
Yeah, and don't be put off if you think, all you're going to hear is country music.
107 people moving there a day.
107 per day.
Per day.
So, yeah. Well, anyways, on the Nashville podcast.
Yes. Let's talk Nashville.
So just format-wise, everybody, we're not just going to ramble on about blah, blah, blah. Let us tell you about NAMM, derp, derp, derp. We're going to do 3 highlights and 3 lowlights. And then we're going to talk about a couple of things outside of NAMM, such as the shops we went to and the music that we caught.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to just try to give you a brief recap on some of the things in a semi-organized fashion, as we like to do here on the podcast.
That's right.
Before that, I want to share what a great experience it was to meet up with the guitar nerds, Matt and Jay.
Yeah.
Woo!
As unexpected pleasure.
As a unofficial number one fan, for real, it was just really great to meet up and talk. We stood in the center of the main avenue by the boss, ginormous.
How did we even meet them? I mean, it was like this big.
Yeah, it was.
The clouds parted and light shone down upon the nerds,
and there
we
they
saw
were.
them, and there they were.
I think we caught Matt after a day. I think he was kind of a little bit wasted, which I understand. You're working at a booth all day and, in a bunch of noise and trying to explain to people the same thing over and over again. However, they were extremely fun and gracious and super cool to talk to. We are trying to figure out how we can do a cross show of some sort. I would love to have a couple, if not all of them on, and we'll see what happens. I would love to hear, the story of how they started. And if you guys haven't, for whatever reason, have found the Guitar Nerds, do so. They cover basically new equipment and keep us abreast of what is constantly evolving on the music scene. And we kind of pick up the other half, and that's cool.
They are fast paced, so pay attention.
Not like us, George.
That's right.
We're gonna slow it right down.
Yeah. So that was just a real treat for me. I was looking forward to that.
Yeah,
Jay and I have been in some conversation, trying to link up a bit, and it was a treat, and it was an honor, and that was a highlight for me. One of the big ones for me. Yeah. Just to meet somebody that you feel like you
They're colleagues.
kind of know. I listen to them all like every week. So
Yeah.
anyways, let's.
What about all the other people that we met, our guests that we've had on the podcast?
Well, I guess we're going to go over that, but let's just kind of blanket statement that right now too.
Yes, we got to meet so many. I mean, I was every corner we turned.
Right. I guess we can't really cover that with just doing one highlight each. There's just too many people.
Oh yeah, we don't want to offend anyone.
That's a thing out of its own.
Yeah.
Just seeing everybody that we
It was such a great thing to actually connect with the people that have been on the show and also people that are going to be on the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we met a lot of new builders. It'll take us forever to like literally list out all the names, but let me just say I probably spent about 4 hours just there was these 2 aisles that was just all pedals.
Oh my gosh.
I abandoned Todd after about a half an hour,
completely.
and he was just like drooling and couldn't just, I said, okay, we'll just wander off. And I get a text from him 3 hours later.
Well, they
still in pedal land.
They set up that area really smart where they had guitars. You could basically grab one of the guitars and you just walk along the aisle and you plug into each builder's kit. And then
that was smart.
There were some pedal boards that were just made up of people that couldn't be there, which I thought was a really great idea. And I got to play, 4 or 5 different Pure Salem guitars. Pure Salem, hello, we want you on the show. I've sent you a note. So I expect to hear something from you.
Consider yourself warned.
Yeah. Those are great guitars. They're
want
really
you.
great guitars. I just want to sit there and play them.
Yeah.
It was super great. Love them. Got to run into a lot of new pedals that we hadn't heard, hadn't experienced before, and just, kind of meet face to face with people that we're seeing all over Instagram and music news and hearing about from other people. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Can I talk about my biggest highlight outside of the show?
Okay.
Both of our highlights is we were invited to go to the Novo and Eastwood factory showroom.
Indeed.
And it was a privilege, one, to meet Dennis Fano, who started up Novo Guitars, but also Matt from Novo,
Yep.
who we had as a guest on the show.
Yep.
And then hopefully down the pike, we'll have Mike Robinson from Eastwood Guitars on.
As well as Dennis himself.
As well as Dennis on another
when it's
episode.
appropriate.
Yes. When appropriate.
When appropriate. That's going to happen.
But it was just a neat
I think
experience.
we might actually try to go down there for it, to be honest.
Oh, well, that would be even
That's
better.
kind of the plan.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
But
We got a nice tour of the facility.
Yeah, and it's really they didn't display it at the show, but they did invite everybody out to come, and they had just basically an open house. So we got to see where the wood is stored, where they're actually making these things. The new spray booth was going in. Very cool. I mean, it's a really nice facility, and I think the Novo guitars, of course, are both Todd and I think we just
really
love
kind
those
of
guitars.
yeah, they're really kind of mind blowing. It's hard to express. Like when you just see pictures of it, and you're like, that's cool looking. Then you pick one up, and you're like, man.
Yeah.
There's just something about, and it's not just them. There's something about every brand that you pick up that if you're lucky, you can really lock onto something. We did the same thing with Echo Park. It was like you pick them up and you're just like, I can't put my finger on it, but man, there is something about this guitar that is just getting me in a certain way, right? And the same thing with the Novo guitars. They were really fantastic.
And then, of course, the Eastwoods that they had on display at the showroom.
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Just some really cool stuff, and the Revoltas. So it was really nice to meet in person Mike Robinson from Eastwood Guitars, kind of the driving force. And if you're not familiar with Eastwood products and you love vintage guitars and Japanese guitars and things like that.
All the weird, wild, and wonderful guitars that are so affordably priced. It's
my God,
ridiculous.
Yeah, and they're really cool, and probably in almost every case better made than the original ones were. But he was telling me that he's got hundreds of design ideas based off of Japanese brands and even some American brands. So it's really cool. I mean, it'll be exciting to have him on board.
That's right. We're going to get him on the show. Episode. That's right.
Can't
talk
wait.
about where he came from, what he's doing.
He was a super duper accommodating dude who is incredibly down to earth and generous with his time, and it was a pleasure meeting him.
Yeah, totally.
Everybody that we ran into was great.
Meeting people like that, not at the show, because the show is almost has a very plasticky feel to it.
It just feels generic.
Yeah,
when you're
we were on their turf. Everybody was relaxed, and it was just a very low key event. There weren't like 300 people piled into a small space, so it was pretty cool.
They took a lot of time with us, and we are greatly appreciative of it. So thank you, especially to Matthew Timmons, for making us feel so at home in your new home.
In your new home.
Oh,
Sukasa.
Right. Yes.
Mikasa.
Yes. All right. So let's get on with our organized podcast. 3 highlights and 3 lowlights of the NAMM show.
Yes.
And Jared, go.
The highlight of the actual NAMM show, and this kind of hits home with me, is probably talking to the Gibson rep. And I know, it's cool to talk about small booths. It's because that's what we do. But I really wanted to talk to Gibson and just kind of get a weather report, what's going on with that company. He said there are investors that have invested in it, and they want to go back to the go back to the traditional meat and potatoes of what they're good at doing. That made me feel really good because I grew up wanting a Gibson guitar my whole life. And yeah, it's a brand thing, but when I was a kid, my dad had Gibsons and he talked about having Gibsons. That's what I wanted. So it was really cool to hear and to talk to a Gibson representative talk about how the company's excited about the direction that they're going to go.
That is good.
That is honestly probably the biggest highlight of
That's
being
good because
at the
we've all
NAMM
been
show.
just speculating on how poo-poo it is.
Right.
Wow, I'm sorry, but I'm just
mind your language there, young man.
Well, no, you're
poo-poo.
right, man. I mean, the stuff they've been spitting out the last couple of years has been below par. So, in my opinion, anyway. So,
yeah, totally.
Okay, good. Check on that. Was there a particular Gibson that you kind of picked up and were thrilled by?
a custom shop SG.
It was a
Barkley,
new
but
kind of blue, wasn't it? It looked like
they had a Pelham blue one there, I think.
Yeah, not the.
No, they had a sparkly blue one.
Yeah, it was
that's right.
That was right next to the 62.
Yeah. Well, I like the way they do those custom shop 62s. It has always been great. They do a good job making them. But
all right. Well, if you like best cheese, then yep.
And then you probably like Strats too.
Yeah.
well, why not?
Tony Baloney, what's up?
All right, so I think probably the biggest highlight of the show for me was really kind of the variety of boutique amp builders that were there. I mean, yeah, there was the big Walla Marshall, and
Which was kind of weird because it seemed like everybody was like, well, I don't know what to do with this.
well, it is.
It was cool to take a picture in front. I saw a lot of people taking a picture in front of it.
Like, I mean, compared to other displays I've seen, it was
what else
pretty
are you doing?
tame.
I bet there were no speakers in those cabinets.
Yes, probably not. But yeah, so there were some big builders, but I really enjoyed seeing some. It was like Third Power and Supro and
No Tone, this new amp.
Yeah,
that was featured in Premier Guitar.
Yeah, so there were just, and I think the summer show does really lend itself to it's a lot more affordable than the summer show, and especially if you're a East Coast builder,
right?
It's a lot closer to get to with amps.
Yeah, it's a lot more doable to set up a table.
Yeah, so that was kind of cool to see and be able to try out some of the new boutique amps that are out there, and you actually talk to the person who's wiring these things up.
Greer Amps was there.
Greer, that's right. Gosh, there were so many of them.
He's got a brand new amp out that is mighty fine.
Mighty fine. So that would be
gonna be on the show. Just saying.
I think that'd be my highlight.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
How about you, Todd?
Well, I enjoyed seeing all those amps as well. I just want to echo that. I was afraid that we weren't going to find that, and I was really pleased to see those amp builders and to hear them and to talk to them and all that business.
But you like the pedals, I bet.
Oh, no. My highlight was we were walking down the aisle when we first got there. All we did was we went and got our badges, and Tony and Jerry were like, well, let's just hit the floor. And I was like, yeah, but it's like the end of the day. People aren't going to be either out here or very excited, neither which was true. And as we were walking down by the drum area of all places, I spied with my little eye a certain Australian luthier that I just about fell over when I saw, because I follow him on Instagram, and he has been entertaining me from a creative standpoint with his great posts about the guitars that he is hand building, which I found out are in his little apartment. And that was Honey Tea guitars.
Those. Yeah, he was right up against the windows.
Yeah, his name is Stephen Burnett. And I just walked up and I said,
like what, two
I
guitars?
said, hey, and he's like, yeah, hello.
Don't kill me.
He had two guitars there.
He had two guitars there, which I had followed the build from the selection of the wood all the way to the final finishing.
Right.
And I got to see those in person. These are guitars that are very expensive, that are way bonkers over the top builds. And I mean that in the amount of care and construction that goes into these. He's hand building them with actual hand tools, Japanese woodworking tools.
Yep.
And I mean, this guy's an absolute artist, and he's going to be on the show too.
Very cool.
He agreed to be on the show, and I'm really excited to hear his story. It's going to be great to share his story with all of you. If you are not familiar, look up Honey Tea guitars on Instagram. They're really mind blowing. I mean, they really are.
The thing was like the one, it was like an archtop jazz guitar, but instead of traditional
but like
bracing,
a rock and roll style.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was candy apple blue.
Yep.
And gold, which
gold leaf sides.
Gold leaf. Now, if you say that instantly, if somebody said, "Dude, you should check out this guitar. It's candy apple blue and gold leaf," I'd be, "Nope." But I'm telling you, that it was absolutely gorgeous in person, and then to understand the steps that it took to make that patiently over a very long time by hand. And then we'll share more when we have him on. But
Yeah.
I mean, how he's doing these in his house is bananas.
Yeah. Yeah. It was amazing. And it was really, I mean,
He came all the way from Australia to be seated by a window next to the drum aisle with those are award-winning guitars. Those are show-stopping guitars. It's so fun to meet people that you are following online. So,
I agree.
Thank you, Stephen Burnett, for showing up at NAMM and making my day when I showed up anyways. And please, everybody, go check out his work. It is so worth it. Really incredible stuff. All right. Now, 3 lowlights of the NAMM show. Now, and we're not dogging on NAMM or anything, but I'm sure we all have commentary on that.
Yeah, but we do. Jared's still thinking.
Go, Jared.
Oh, me? You guys want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I didn't see anything groundbreakingly new. I did see some really cool pickups that had I don't know, some sort of stereo thing going on with them. That was pretty cool. That was kind of new to me, but actually, if I had a complaint, that would be it. There was nothing, there wasn't a big fireworks display with the big new thing in the music industry. There just wasn't a
Breakthrough.
big breakthrough. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
But that's kind of typical for the summer show too. You don't really. I mean, sometimes they'll release new models and talk about things, but I mean, usually the big announcements are for.
And that's not really a big deal to me. I think if that's what I would have to mention. That's the mentionable thing, But other than that, I was pretty satisfied with the show for what it was. I meant, I got a lot out of it. And that's why I go.
Yeah, cool.
Tony?
Well, as with every NAMM show, my least favorite part is Drumland. And no offense, with great offense to drummers, no. It's this strange cacophony of sounds. If I had to hear a drummer bang on a cymbal one more time, I was going to go nuts. So
how did you make it being in a band when you were younger?
I mean, there's only one drummer.
Well, I got you.
In Drumland, there's like 50 people banging on things.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's none of them are playing the same thing. And that's my least favorite part. But, I understand that the drummers are part of the musical community as well. So that's why they usually have a section of the show cordoned off just for Drumland. Other than that, Trombone Land could be bad too, but
you can put a bass player in a booth with an amplifier. You can put a guitar and in an amplifier in a little sound booth. But a drum set, that's not going to be easy, and not every.
No, you can't. It's just uncontrollable, except for the electronic drums.
I like walking by and hearing some dude, beating out this awesome whatever, but. I see what you're saying when you hear 5 or 6 different drummers just beating away.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's usually my least favorite part, but yeah,
that's just the sound.
It just makes my head swim.
It's sound pollution.
It's sound pollution. So
yeah.
So I'll put some earplugs in next time, I guess.
I think my least favorite part was that there were several vendors that I ran into that I said, "Oh, hey, this is a new thing, and I don't know about this thing," and they ended up just being reps that weren't repping very well. I'm not going to call any brands out, but if you're listening and you had a rep there and you weren't there, it might be yours. I'm just saying. But it made it difficult because I was trying to make a connection, and they weren't super duper helpful. There was also in that sort of same vein, you could tell who was just even walking by. You could be like, "I'm going to have no conversation here."
Yeah, you read that. As you could
definitely. For whatever reason, I'm just like, "Hey, if you're at the show, give me bring me in, give me a reason to stop and talk to you." Now that respectfully, I can refuse the invitation, but I don't want to look at something and go like, that looks pretty interesting, and then get the body language that says, I have zero interest in telling anybody about this thing that I'm sitting in front of.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and that does happen. I mean, part of it is, although that would actually happen probably the first day of the show too. So the excuse of being tired from being on the floor for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Here's another thing. So I'm just kind of throwing one in there, a bonus.
One, Todd, only one.
Yes. So there were loads of guitar players there. I think the overwhelming majority of people who are there are using their gear for live instances. I'd be willing to say that.
No, I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Now, in the pro audio section, there seemed to be a giant gap between this is the pro audio section, and we're basically just talking to dealers, and it's all super duper mega high end stuff. There didn't seem to be a connection into, hey, what about like this, 10 aisles of guitar people over here that need to use mics, that need to use, different kinds of interfaces and boards and all the other stuff that comes with some sort of a live setup. It just seemed like that's a gap to bridge. Because other than just walking up and saying, wow, this stuff looks really complicated and really expensive and I don't know how to talk to you about it, we still have to use some of that gear. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, and what you'll find if you do go to California show is there's even more separation because the halls are so big. They'll have a hall for pro audio gear and a hall for mostly guitars. And
they have different buildings with different halls.
And I understand, like if you are going to be a dealer or something for that kind of stuff, you want to find that all in the same place. But also knowing that there were hundreds and hundreds of people who still need to be familiar or use or be aware of that new stuff that's coming in, that there really is no connection.
Yeah.
Or at least if we're walking by, you can spot us because we're not talking to you, but we're clearly there and we're probably not looking at the tubas. So you might want to say, hey, do you guys play guitar? I see you got guitar shirts on. We've got a great product over here. You probably play live. This is really cool. This is great for miking your amps. This is a little doodad for hanging the things off your amps or, whatever it is. I'm just saying. So them's the 3s and 3s. Now, we also had a heck of a great time outside of the show.
Yes.
So
possibly better.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I didn't. I had an absolute blast at the show. I really, truly did. We hit up a couple of shops. So let's just kind of briefly run down our shop experience really quick like.
Yes. Well, Nashville, of course, is known for 1 or 2 musicians, I think, live around there.
Yep.
So they have a couple of different guitar stores, some historic, some more player grade instruments, but still really nice things. So we took was it Saturday we did that?
Yep.
So Saturday we, in lieu of going to the show, we hit the road.
We had already hit the show for 2 days straight.
We were 2 days at the show.
Done our business.
And this is kind of my MO when I go to these shows, because Saturday, a lot more people are going to the show, which makes most of these music shops much more empty.
Rather empty.
Yeah.
Which is, the way I like it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, the probably the big 2 down there are Gruhn's guitars. Everybody knows George Gruhn guitars, and also Carter's.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, really? I thought
That's not my jam.
Yeah,
either.
that's
so.
I get you. I get
nice,
what you're saying.
Nice store. Just
Yeah, but Carter's Vintage Instruments, which
I
was
love that
very
place.
close to the convention center, and also I think one of the nicest stores in terms of being able to go in, feeling comfortable picking up a guitar to play it. Jared, you'll have to tell us about your experience there.
Yeah, so we went into Carter and I proposed that they carried my pickups, and they were thrilled that I was just going to leave a set there for them to use and not charge them. So they offered me to play Ed King's 1960 Les Paul Burst.
Who's Ed King?
He helped write the song Sweet Home Alabama when he was in Lynyrd Skynyrd. So I got to play that burst for a while, and Todd
In an isolated room.
That's right. And
with no armed guards.
Yeah, that's right. They just trusted me with the guitar. I took my ring and my watch off.
What did you play? What did you play it out of again?
I'm trying to remember.
I think I have that video. I want to say it was
a Fender DeVille or something like that.
I think it was a brown faced amp.
Yeah,
it was a brown faced Fender. So I mean, we may have made a full circle back here.
Yeah, Deluxe.
Did you play Sweet Home Alabama?
I did not.
See, that was probably in the DNA of that guitar.
You know
Well, what do they call it? It had a nickname.
It's a. Oh, was that the Red Eye?
Crackhead.
That's right. It was the crackhead that he had.
Why?
Because it had a crack in the head of the guitar.
That is correct.
That's right. So, I was so into just holding the guitar and being able to play it. I just wasn't. I was relaxed, but
I was climbing all over taking pictures and video, and then
that was okay.
I backed off and let you have the room to yourself.
I appreciated you filming that, but it wasn't you. It was just the fact that if I dropped the guitar, I would have to sell my house to cover the costs of the guitar.
That is true.
So there was
it was in a glass case.
It was in a glass case, and they got it out for me, and I didn't think I had that coming, but they were really nice to me, and they trusted me, and it was a really great privilege.
And this is the kind of place it was. There was somebody that poked their head in. These with their kids, and somebody says, "What is that?" And he goes, "I think that's a Les Paul." It's cool that they just felt comfortable enough to be in there and not be like, "Oh, we can't go in there because we don't know guitars." I mean, there's guitar players that feel like they can't go into those shops. I mean, I've been intimidated by going into guitar shops, especially as a kid.
I reacted. I said, "Yeah, this is an old one."
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Yeah,
yeah, but it's I think out of all the shops down there, that's probably my favorite one.
Eastside Music, that's up there for me too.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to that one. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry you didn't get to go, but that was great. That the people there, and how you felt in that store.
They had an open house at the end of the show that they invited us to, and we got to hang out. And it was mostly for the boutique set, and a lot of the pedal cats. Benson Amps was there, Greer Amps was there, Yellow Cake Pedals. Third Power showed up, Acorn Amps. I mean, there's a whole bunch of dudes. Floating Forest pedals, and new guy on the scene. So and it was kind of like our people. We got to hang out with more like our people in a more intimate atmosphere. Mm-hmm. It was really great. Nice dudes running that shop, very accommodating. And so if you are down there at the old Nashville, stop by the Eastside Music Supply. They also were at a show the night before.
That's right.
Where we saw a fantastic band. Speaking of a great segue, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Segue.
Man, oh man. Listen up. I pretty much fell in love with this band, the Fever Blush.
They were great.
They killed it at this place called the Five Stop. Everybody up there had their own deal. I'm probably going to post a couple pictures or at least some video of that. It's going to be good when you're in the back of the room and you say to the other guitarist, the other guitar player next to you, "Is that dude playing a T40?"
Exactly. And he had the tape
bass. You could see the headstock 40 feet away, and you're like, "Whoa!"
He had like duct tape or masking tape around where the strap goes.
Yeah, he's playing out of an old Sun amp. This big tall one. It was great. And the drummer, look, this is a guitar podcast, but that drummer,
he was working, man.
Captivated everybody. That was as close to good. Seeing Animal from the Muppets.
He was, man.
He was money. That guy, it was so great to see somebody just love every single hit that he made.
That dude played with every bit of passion that I've ever seen.
It was great. Man. They all did, and it was
great
good stuff. So good luck to the Fever Blush out there. And Eastside Music Supply gave away a whole bunch of stuff. Whole bunch of straps, whole bunch of pedals. So it was a heck of a night, and they were very gracious, and especially for having everybody over there too. So thank you guys for doing that for everyone in the NAMM community. We also got to see some other cool music. Jared?
Yeah, so there's a fella named Mike Merritt, and he goes by Muffy Merritt, and his band's called the Bullhorn Boys. And I've made a few pickup sets for him and sent them down his way.
Then he's playing Reverend guitars.
And he's playing Reverend guitar. So he, and a few others, but he particularly likes this pink sparkle limited edition Reverend that he has. And he stuck a set of my pickups in that guitar. And that was actually a Neil Young kind of thing that I did, expecting him to use it for a different guitar, but he slapped them in this guitar and he plays slide with it. And it sounds so good. And, and I think the moon and all the stars aligned that night because we were actually enjoying that music, enjoying some barbecue with Kenny and Penny Haas and Joe Naylor of Reverend Guitars. So it was crazy.
We're all hunkered down on a little table in the
picnic table.
Sweltering heat.
Ooh, was it hot?
Right.
It was hot, but the conversation was great. We appreciate their hospitality. It was fun talking guitars with them. And,
Absolutely.
And their is his nephew? No,
Yeah,
it
was his best friend's son.
So nephew-ish, but not really a nephew.
Sure.
So he was cool. He's a new listener. Welcome, dude.
It was amazing music too. It was real. I don't want to say country, but it's very American.
It's kind of like a crisscross
American.
between old timey like swing, like ragtime swing and rock. Bass player was surfing the bass and riding his bass, and Muffy was doing the vocals out of this old Gibson amp.
Yep.
Which was really kind of cool. So it kind of gave it that really ultra lo-fi radio sound.
Yeah.
And he was playing his guitars through these little tiny ZT amps that were featured at the show. Little tiny lunchbox amps. I think they go by the loudest little amp in the world.
Tiny amp, big sound.
Yeah.
Really
they were
good
very
for
tiny.
what he was doing.
Yeah. It gave it a real tinny, boxy kind of warm, distorty sound, and
it was great, man.
It was awesome. Fantastic.
Easy to move.
Very easy to move, indeed.
I think they met their drummer just minutes before they started.
That's true.
Before that gig, too. That was
he
another
just jumped
fun
in.
part.
That's Nashville, man.
I forgot to mention, just before that, we got to meet Zach McPeters father, who came over to our Airbnb.
Father McPeters.
Father McPeters. Father McPeters. I doubt they're Irish, but whatever. That was terrible. Whatever. So they came over to our Airbnb and brought their guitars. So we just did the podcast with them.
They were
and
beautiful too.
Gorgeous guitars. So that was a real treat getting to talk to them about how they're going about building, what they think their future is, and just again meeting the people that are out there having to do with the show. Oh man, it was a great trip. It was a really fun time. We had a blast, and we look forward to the next one. And we hope to meet many, many more friends of the podcast out there and make new ones.
Friends of podcast.
Yes. Let's put a bow on that with.
Well, it's time for Would You Rather. This week's Would You Rather. So
It's funny every time, but it is.
You're at NAMM, and you have a choice. You're given two certificates, you're given one certificate, and the certificate says this will allow you one signature guitar from one company. And your two choices are a Troy Van Leeuwen Jazzmaster, which is a maroon oxblood color. That's more like it. And
made by Fender.
Yep, Jazzmaster, just a kick butt guitar. Or would you rather have the Billy Corgan made by Reverend Guitars? So a Billy Corgan Reverend guitar, and they also feature the Railhammer pickups, which was they were designed by Joe Naylor.
Can you describe those?
Yes. Now the large magnets that cover the three smaller strings on the guitar, they're pole magnets, and they kind of allow those strings to be more, I don't know, MIDI and more attack with mids or whatever. And then you have rails with the three larger strings to kind of tighten that up, to kind of tighten up the lows. tighten up the lows and accentuate the highs. It's kind of what the thing's designed to do.
I love the idea of that.
Yeah, a great pickup, and they designed one for Billy Corgan as well. So
Nice.
would you rather have the Fender Troy Van Leeuwen
Of Queens of the Stone Age,
or Billy Corgan
Smashing Pumpkins.
Reverend Guitar?
Tony.
I loved your little drop in of the band names. That's Johnny Pro, man.
Yeah,
Johnny
man.
Pro.
You got it.
Toddy Pro. Well, no disrespect to Billy Corgan, but I think ever since I saw the first Troy Van Leeuwen Jazz Master, I said, wow, that is cool. It's a cool color. They changed the circuitry up a little bit.
Modernized.
Yeah, a little more modern. It's just a very cool instrument, and I think I have to go with the TVL one, but after seeing and getting a chance to pick up one of the Billy Corgan ones, that's a fine instrument too. But I think the Troy Van Leeuwen's going to win out in my book.
Yeah. I can see
Jared, what
that.
are you doing?
I got to go with, as much as I want that Troy Van Leeuwen, and I know this is fantasy land, but
It does have blocks and binding on
yes,
the neck.
I know. And we ordered one, and we talked about that a while back. So because of that, I got to take the Reverend, man. I got to take the Billy Corgan. I want those pickups. I think that's a fantastic pickup design.
Yeah.
And I want a guitar that doesn't have my pickups in it, because all of my guitars, almost all of my cars, have my own. But I want to enjoy somebody else's creation as well. So
Now, what do you think would happen if they flip those around and put the rails underneath the treble strings instead of the bass strings?
I think it would kind of tonally be lopsided, because you would have extremely boomy lows and very tinny highs.
Okay.
And that's the reason Joe did that.
Cool.
To kind of tighten everything up and make it a little more even. So I think that's a great pickup.
What color are you going with, though?
I like don't they have a gray and white?
It's like a silvery gray.
The silver?
Yeah.
That's
Silver Burst.
That's exactly what I would want.
With
that silver burst.
the pick guards are it's a
Metal.
4-piece pick guard metal, like aluminum.
Yeah.
Yes, and I actually have a template set. I've had a couple of people order. They want more the plastic pick guards, like perloids and things like that.
Oh, to put on them, to
Yeah.
customize them.
Customize
That's a
them a
great
little
idea.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Todd?
You know what? This is a no-brainer for me. I am a huge fan of Smashing Pumpkins, and I really do like that Reverend Billy Corgan picked it up. I hadn't picked one up before. My friend plays one, but I haven't played his, so I got to pick this one up and spend a little bit of time with it. And it's just a really, truly unique guitar. It's a truly unique shape. Like everything about it, every appointment is different, and it's kind of a showstopper. And I would take that one in the all white. I like the silver burst. I don't want as much contrast with the actual pick guard pieces. And I think that the white one with the silver is like the OG, original one.
20 years,
I'm going with that.
Maybe it'll be kind of like that yellowed color.
Yeah. Maybe we could have him sign it at some point somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll sign it for you.
Hey, thanks.
Pick guardian.
Anyways, yeah, that would be super, super, super cool.
Yeah, both are cool guitars. So I mean, they are definitely both worth considering, and both about the same price point. So
Indeed.
Great guitars, man.
Indeed. All right, gentlemen, real quick, we got a couple of people to thank, and Tony's going to handle that.
I am going to handle that, because that's what I do in this segment of the show. Yeah, so at this time of the show, we like to thank our executive producers. Now, if you go to Patreon,
Keep the show going.
They keep the show going.
Yep.
As do all the patrons.
Yes. So if you go to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs, you can see how you can participate and help sponsor the podcast.
That's right.
It could be as little as $1 It could be
$1, $5, $10. We'll
Yes.
take them all.
and at each level, you get a great little prize package from
Yes.
stickers.
Hopefully, you
and
guys have
pics
seen
and-
those in pictures from Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook. And if you do get one, share it with the world for us, please.
So let's just say you got an extra 10 spot
Right.
per month that you'd like to sponsor with. That gets you into this exclusive club.
You get a lot.
You get a lot. Not only the prize packages and the T-shirt and all the other fun stuff.
Barefoot button,
Barefoot button.
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
Get your name read.
And you get your name read on the thing.
Yep, and a whole bunch of crazy
slew of
stickers
other
and all
stuff.
kinds of other stuff.
So
Heck of a deal.
go to patreon.com/the guitar knobs. You'll
Thank
get all
the
the
people,
information.
Tony.
I'm going to thank our executive producers right now.
My God.
So here we go. We'd like to thank Doug Christ, Zach J. Wright, Gary Goodman,
And Beckett.
Darren Gregory, Robert Marfleet, John Anglin, Chris Kearney, Sean S. Oliver Gonzalez, John Daly, Robin Smith, Derek Fitzer, Pete Marshall, Carlos Mancha, Matt Brammer, David Wolfson, Martin Cliff, and Tom Barazin.
Thank you guys so much.
You're the best.
Thank you.
Tony, where can people find you?
Well, for custom pick guards and other fun accessories, you can go to pickguardian.com. Find out all the various things that I am capable of doing.
Yep.
See some nice examples and
Making
photos.
Reverend Billy Corgan pick guards.
Yeah. For instance, it's you got one of those Reverend Billy Corgans and you want to get rid of the metal plates.
Throw some tiger stripe or perloid on there.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, mama.
And then you can also see me on the various social media, most currently active on Instagram, Pick Guardian and the number 1.
Indeed. Jared?
You can find me at Brandon Wound Pickups. We build boutique pickups and we build vintage style pickups down to the T. We also do rewinds for a very low cost and a fast turnaround. You can find me on Facebook and
Legit
also,
low cost. Like we're not just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very-
Almost free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shockingly low.
It's a fast turnaround, stupid fast. So you can find me on Facebook at Brandon Wound Pickups, also on Instagram, and I'm pretty active on Instagram.
And you have a website too, don't you?
That would be BrandonWoundPickups.com.
That's right.
Pay me a visit.
You can shoot me a note at Todd at theguitarknobs.com. I am always happy to hear from people out there. If you are a Patreon, you can do it on the Patreon app as well, or however else you can figure out how to get a hold of us. You can DM me on Instagram. That's right. Everybody, we are so glad that you joined us for this show. We can't wait to bring you another one. If you are new to the show, go back and listen to some of the old ones. Doggone it, they're good. I'm telling you.
You're not just saying that, are you?
And also, if you're listening on iTunes, give us would you throw us a rating, Bone? I would greatly appreciate it. It does help it helps our visibility out there to get more people looking at us. So with that, we bid you all a fantastic guitar week. Subscribe! Dude, you're high as a kite. I brought that sticker in. But you can have the sticker. Okay, ready? I'm just saying it would be in your best interest if you was carrying my product here.
Great.
That cake did me in, man. Like seriously, I've got a sugar brain right now. I can't. No, because I want to. Tony, that hair is still on there. Oh my gosh, get it off. It was flopping when you're breathing all over it. It was killing me. Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.